Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unit 3, Day 3, where we start to talk about and really build up to war with this. Today, you're going to see a lot of events and a lot of actions that are going to lead directly to war. And today, we are going to end with the war being on the precipice of starting. So during this time, you're going to see the British continue to toy and mess with policy. And you're going to see that every time that they do something that the colonists are upset with, that is going to lead to some sort of reaction. This is going to happen over and over and over again. And the British will constantly give in to the colonists as far as that goes. So we're going to have the passing of several famous acts during this time, such as the Townshend Acts, the Coercive Acts, which are known in the colonies as the Intolerable Acts during this time. And with every one of these acts, you're going to see comes a response out of the colonies. The colonies are going to be very, very effective in using boycott to try to get their way. So, for example, the British pass a tax they don't like or an act that they don't like. They start boycotting British goods, and then that leads the British to reverse policy because it actually does have a financial effect on them. I think today a lot of times we see boycotts and they don't really work because they're just not going to have a financial effect on whatever company or whatever it is that you want to fight against with that. So the colonists would respond. We're also going to see Boston really emerge at the forefront of anti-British activity. At the forefront of that, you're going to have the Sons of Liberty and the Daughters of Liberty, who are directly part of events such as the Boston Tea Party. You're going to see that they are part of that. And you're also going to see they're going to lead the way as far as like tarring and feathering. I've included a scene in there from the John Adams miniseries of a tarring and feathering and what that really looked like. And we tend to think it wasn't that bad of an experience. Yeah, it actually was a pretty bad experience that you were going through with that. So you're going to see that. You're also going to see the Boston Massacre that happens. So before this, again, colonies very disjointed. They are becoming more unified, but the Boston Massacre again would be another one of those things that would really unify the colonies. It also brings forth, which I have you doing, is a really good study and looking into the effect of like media and how they affect how we see things. Boston Massacre is an excellent example of that. Even though only 5 people were killed, which is still 5 people, the name Boston Massacre gets associated with that because of the works of Samuel Adams and Paul Revere, and leads it to being called the Massacre, which, again, when you hear the word massacre, it makes it sound a lot worse, which is going to get people more and more upset during this time. You're also going to see several times in this, the colonies work together. With the Stamp Act Congress and the First Continental Congress, you're going to have that. So as I had already said, you're going to see the colonies fighting back over and over against what the British are doing. The British are generally going to give in. And finally, you're going to see a marked change in the king's attitude. I'm going to read a quote here for you from King George. He said, "Concessions have made matters worse. The time has come for compulsion." And you're really going to see the colonies... the colonies had basically pushed the envelope. The king gets fed up, Parliament gets fed up, and then that's when things start to really happen. So I've put in there, you're going to see that the colonies even try to say, hey, we can make this better, we can fix this problem, but compromise is not going to work between them during this time. So you also have a timeline to do today, so make sure you do that and understand what the buildup of these events were and how all these events would lead to the later American Revolution. And it's very compelling when you look at the American Revolution and when you realize that the events over basically 10 plus years is going to be what leads to the birth of our country, and how quickly and how fast things move. That's one of the things that I'm most amazed about when I look back in history and you realize how quickly things move, especially things that are going to be like earth-changing and world-shattering events. We had never seen in history a rebellion like we're going to see that forms the United States, at least not one that had been super successful. And with that, you're going to see that in the creation of the United States. So, as I said, do that timeline and the other things for today that are on there for you to do. One of them has you doing an analysis of some art. And again, be thinking in mind when you see that, like, what is the effect that media has? And of course, we've seen a lot in the news these days, the term fake news thrown around and that kind of stuff. With that, though, you're going to see in history, there's going to be several big examples where we're going to see how news is portrayed and the effect that that has on the American people and the effect that that has on world events. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I would love nothing more than to be able to help you. Otherwise, have a great day.